Today we're looking at the Onvo L60 versus the Tesla Model Y. So the cars that Onvo builds are more affordable, and they're essentially meant to be more competitive, especially towards Tesla. When you look at Tesla in the last few years, Tesla has actually been introducing a lot of price cuts. So the arrival of Onvo is actually kind of perfectly timed. Now I've seen the interior, I've shared the interior, it looks absolutely amazing, but we want to understand a little bit further. Can this vehicle really be a serious competitor towards Tesla, and especially the Tesla Model Y? Can it stand up against other competitors in the EV market? Newer competitors such as the Polestar 4. I've compared the Polestar 4 to the Tesla Model Y previously. I've said this is a real Tesla challenge for real. And now it looks like we have a new Tesla challenger on the scene. And so far, I've liked everything I've seen about the Onvo vehicle. If anything, I might like it a little bit too much because I think it resembles the Polestar 4 a little bit too closely. I could be wrong. So yes, this is NIO's answer to the Tesla Model Y. It's the Onvo L60. It's an electric SUV crossover. Some of the first production units were just rolling off the assembly line, and they've only just released the interior images, and that's been incredible. Not too similar to NIO vehicles, but also not too separate. I like what they've done. It's almost similar to what Polestar and Volvo has done with their interior. You look at the Polestar 3, you look at the Volvo EX90, the interior is kind of similar, very similar, but it's not the exact same. And in fact, NIO and Onvo are actually even more different. So after NIO introduced the low-cost electric SUV in May, the first Onvo L60 models are already rolling off the production line. That's in the F2 factory in China. CEO William Li said the new EV will compete with mass-market models like Toyota RAV and the Tesla best-selling Model Y. And that is Tesla's best-selling vehicle, but it's also the best-selling electric vehicle worldwide, I believe. And how annoying must it be for Tesla to have now a new competitor? It seems that there's always a new competitor towards that Model Y. And honestly, it's kind of makes sense. If that is the best-selling vehicle and it's also one of the more affordable vehicles, it would make a lot of sense to make a competitor in that space. And this is why a lot of brands have been making a lot of crossover SUV recently. Not a full-size electric SUV, but something more like a hatchback coupe kind of SUV. Some of them don't even look like an SUV, known as the Polestar 4. It doesn't really look like an SUV, but inside, if you've ever been inside the Polestar 4, then you understand, okay, this car has a lot of space. Definitely a lot more than a regular sedan. And actually, this is a good thing. This makes the Polestar 4 unique in what it offers, in the sense that you can't really determine if it's an SUV or if it's a sedan. Believe it or not, this is a good thing because it simply means that people can use it as both in a sense. While it might be a little bit unwise to target two different markets, Polestar being Polestar, a new brand, European premium luxury brand, they can probably get away with this. Not to mention the fact that the Polestar 4 is meant to be a long-lasting vehicle. Similar to the Model Y, it's meant to be a long-lasting vehicle. A vehicle that won't be erased in 10 years. Cars like the Model Y, cars like the Polestar 4, cars like the Onvo L60, they want to continue updating these cars and add in slightly different changes. Look at what Tesla's done with the Model 3 so far, since it's been out. Look at what they've done with the Model S. Look at what they've done with the Model Y. They've slowly added new and different iterations, similar to what Rivian is doing right now with the new second generation R1T and R1S. The cars look virtually the same, but underneath, inside, it's all a little bit different here or there. Now, this is good for the brands as well because they get used to building these things and they figure out new ways to cut down costs and to increase the rate of building these vehicles, which is basically optimizing for efficiency. It's what Tesla has become so good at doing since they've been building vehicles. They constantly look to improve the vehicle, but also to cut down on costs, to cut down on labor time, and to increase the amount of vehicles that you can build in the shortest period of time. And it takes practice to get good at this. That's what Polestar is doing with the Polestar 2, in fact. They've added new iterations. They've added a couple new iterations. Like for 2024, there was a new Polestar, a new Polestar 2. It was slightly, they removed the grille, they added a smart zone. Performance, range was increased, just a few tweaks, but it's not a completely different vehicle. It's the same vehicle, just slightly upgraded. So that's clearly the path that a lot of these, electric vehicle automakers are going in. This is not the way it used to be. When you look at older automakers, internal combustion engine vehicles, those vehicles, they would get upgraded every 5, 6, 7 years. There'd be a new style. So, like the BMW 1 Series, that's had a few different versions of the BMW 1 Series. But the big jump would happen over 5, 6, 7 years difference. Once they find the current model, they would continue using it until it becomes out of fashion. Then they would just go with a huge upgrade. While it seems like electric vehicle automakers, they're not looking to make huge upgrades. They're looking to just make small iteration tweaks. If you don't believe me, just look at how long Tesla has been selling the Model S. They've been selling that thing since 2012, 2013 or something like that. That's over 11 years. And it's the same model. It's the exact same model. It is not like the Mercedes S-Class or the BMW 5 Series. No, 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 no. Those cars are actually new cars. When Mercedes introduced a new S-Class, it's a new S-Class. When Tesla introduced the updated Model S, it's an updated Model S. Now, if you look at the starting prices, it's about 30,000 for the Onvo L60. And this is undercutting the Tesla Model Y in China especially. And they want to start with their market, with the Chinese market. And that's smart because that's their biggest market. They're slowly building their infrastructure in Europe. They're not quite there yet. So Model Y is actually starting around 34,600. And because it's got that Tesla badge, it gets that premium extra 3,900, whatever it is. Now for the base rear-wheel drive model, up to 344 miles CTLC range. NIO's most affordable Onvo L60 model goes up to 341 miles CLTC range. So it's not a huge 3 miles. It's not a huge difference, is it? But when people start testing these vehicles together, you're gonna really see who really can perform the best in different weathers and different climates, different situation, different driving styles. You never know. Now, NIO compared the L60 to the Model Y, claiming its battery energy consumption, which is 12.1 kilowatts per 100 kilometers versus 12.5 kilowatts per 100 meter under the same conditions. They're clearly very closely matched. There is no doubt about that. This is a brief look at that interior. Like I said, there are similarities with NIO, but it's not the exact same where, if you told me this was a NIO vehicle, I would be like, is that a new NIO vehicle? Because it doesn't look like any NIO vehicle that I'm used to. I would actually think like, well, that must be a new NIO vehicle, or it just might just be another brand. I wouldn't immediately think it's a NIO vehicle. I think the NIO style is a bit more distinctive, and I'm glad that they didn't completely copy the NIO style. They took a few inspirations. One of the biggest difference, which I love, is the landscape display. I've always thought this about NIO vehicles. I always thought, how long will they keep the square display, the rectangle? Seriously, how long would they keep that? I've always thought that, and I've always thought, the way to go is really landscape. Now, when you look at NIO's upcoming models, like the ET9, the legendary ET9, it's like a family limousine. It's really incredible. I mean, really incredible. Once again, the NIO interior, not the exact same, but there are influences. But future NIO models, you can definitely see they're aiming towards landscape display. That's definitely the way to go. Previously, if you're looking at older NIO models, the ones that we're more used to, you can see right there the display. It's like half portrait, half rectangle, it's a bit different. Which I must say, it's not that I'm against it. I'm not against it. I just think for the ease of software, it works best if it's landscape. All of our computers are landscape. It just works better if it's landscape. So here's what for sure. I want to know, what do you think about this vehicle compare with the Model Y? Seriously, beyond just price. It's not just about, the price. It's not just about the range. Those are reasons people do buy vehicles, but it's not the only reason, is it? So when you look at the current version of the L60 that's available, It's the 60 kilowatt per hour. The 90 kilowatts per hour will be coming eventually. The 150 kilowatts per hour will be coming eventually. And those will be even more competitive. Just look at these estimated range. With the 90 kilowatts, over 730 kilometers. That's 454 miles approximately. With the 150 kilowatts, over 621 miles. This is only just the start for NIO. These vehicles will be incredibly competitive. And because they're being built in China, targeted towards that Chinese audience at the start, straight away from the get-go, no, it's not like they're bringing these vehicles to America immediately and being like, okay, we have to outsell Tesla. No. It's not like that they're doing that with Europe immediately. No. It's slowly going to be rolled out in Europe, but it's mostly targeting China right now. They want to get a real foothold. And I can see why NIO and Onvo would want to do this, because currently NIO is probably not doing too well with selling their vehicles compared to the Model Y, because they probably don't have the best Model Y competitor. Let's be honest, NIO vehicles are typically a bit more expensive. They're typically a bit more premium, a bit more luxurious, like a Polestar. Tesla has been going really like they've been knocking down the prices of their car. They've been getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to be more competitive. So for NIO, creating a second brand was more than necessary. It was absolutely needed. And this is how they beat Tesla on all grounds. So NIO has NIO cars that can compete with the Model X, the Model S, even the Model 3 with the ET5. They now have Onvo, which can compete with the Model Y, because the Model Y is the best-selling vehicle. And they want a piece of that. Not just in China, but in Europe. They want it in America as well. They want it everywhere. So I have no doubt that this car will be a serious competitor towards the Model Y. The Model Y is already getting a lot of serious competition, and it's only heating up more and more competition. So it's really going to put Tesla in a tight spot. And it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate this, because NIO is not going anywhere. Onvo is not going anywhere. They're here to stay. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm interested to find out. What do you think? Do you think the Onvo L60 will live up to expectations? Do you think it would really perform well in sales? I think so, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it will do very well versus the Tesla. Seriously. So subscribe, leave a like, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.